Welcome back to MadMods PC Modding. My name is Mikey, and who needs background music if you have dogs barking outside like crazy? Anyway, let's just go on with this. Today we're gonna talk about a case that I received a few days ago. I requested this from Thermaltake, I think a month back. Well, I've been seeing it a lot, and I'm really interested with working on that case. Now, first, I'd like to thank Thermaltake for sending it to me and allowing me to proceed with what I have in mind using their case. It is the smaller, chubby brother of the View 71. Well, how much smaller? Not by a lot, because the View 71, which was released a couple of years ago, I guess, is at this. And the View 51 is this. Yes, I don't have to memorize those. Just put it there. Now, there are a couple of versions for this case. There's a black version, and what I requested is the snow version. Because I'm going to be working on a specific theme. I'm always into sci-fi and, something robot stuff when it comes to my modding style this past few years. So I want to try something different. Progress of that project will be uploaded here as well. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing and let you guys know what's up with that. Okay, so since I don't have everything yet, let's just take a quick look. Starting on the front where there's a couple of 200mm ARGB fans. Front I/O, you have a USB-C, a couple of USB 3.0 and 2.0s, as well as the mic and headphone ports. If you're going to mount something else like a radiator on the front, then the panel needs to be removed. To do that, we first need to loose the top panel. It's very easy, just a couple of thumb screws. Then you can slide it back, then pop it up. With that, you can remove the front panel like so. I also feel like removing the tempered glass side panel so we can lose a few weight. It makes it easier to flip the case around. It is a 4mm thick tempered glass panel. It is hinged, so swing it all the way back, then give it a lift. Now let's see the fan or radiator mount. This can hold up to 3 120 or 140mm fans, a couple of 200mm, and up to 360mm for a radiator. It is modular, so you can have an option to mount the fans and radiators on a table, which is how I like to do it because it's just so much easier that way. Next, let's see the empty space inside the case. Motherboard standoffs comes pre-installed. Thank you. A lot of holes for routing cables. A fan or radiator mount next to the motherboard tray that can hold a 280 or a 360mm radiator. The pass-through for the 24-pin power supply cable is at a 45-degree angle. There are rubber grommets pre-installed, and they are the only holes with rubber grommets. The others, they have none. There's a pre-installed 120mm fan on the rear exhaust, and yes, it is RGB just like the one on the front. Moving on to the lower part of the case, a vertical GPU bracket. I'll show you how that works later. A couple of SSD trays and a pump bracket. Losing the SSD tray gives you room for a 240mm radiator or a couple of 120mm fans. If you're custom water cooling, going with a 240mm rad gives you room for the pump, but no one's gonna stop you if you want to remove the bracket and use a 360mm rad. You just have to figure out where you're going to place the pump, or get the Pacific DP100, which is a distro plate pump combo from Thermaltake. Additional note, you can only use a radiator with a thickness of 13mm on the bottom of this case. Up top, there's another radiator or fan mount that works just like the one placed on the front. Now let's go back to the vertical GPU mount. First, you need to loose all these screws, rotate it, line it up, latch it on, and screw it back. Done. Backside of the case, I like the patterns of the cutouts. They look really good. Removing them, the usual, by removing a couple of thumb screws. Magnetic dust filters are also present on this side of the case. More at the back, SATA power for your fan controller, wires and cables for the front I/O, then the slot for your power supply. Now the power supply needs to be mounted vertically. There's also this small piece that you can adjust according to the length of your power supply. Then the hard drive cage, it is accessible from the back. Just loosen the thumb screw. There are a couple of hard drive trays in there. They can hold a regular drive or an SSD. The other tray holds the accessory box right now, but we're gonna check that later. This drive cage is also modular. Not that you can move it somewhere else, but just in case you don't want it. Space for cable management, well, we can just mindlessly dump cables in that fat space. There's also this. I don't know what this is, but removing this cap gives you that. And the contents of the accessory box, we have a sachet of screws and standoffs, extra long radiator screws, rubber washers, zip ties, motherboard speaker, velcro straps, and the cable that connects the fan controller to the RGB header of your motherboard. And there you have it, a quick look at the View 51 from Thermaltake. I really like it. I think the only thing missing is a PCIe riser. If they threw in the one that comes with the Core V5, like their normal PCIe risers, it would have been nice. Otherwise, I have no complaints. I'm gonna work on it soon and give you guys the update on this channel, or you can check it out on my Facebook page as well. Now, if you've reached this part of the video, thank you very much. And for those who are finding me for the first time, if you're into PC water cooling and case modding, I do a lot of those. You might want to consider subscribing to this channel because I make videos about them whenever I can. Now, for now, I have nothing else to say. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out.